the days for your love, you say. I came here to let you know, got a thing for Christ, and I can't let it go. What he won't do, he won't do for love, do for love. 'Cause we tried everything, but it won't give up. It's in my word, only you can do for love what I would not do.
Hi, my name is Lamont, and my expectation for a loving relationship is understanding and also respect. It can take them to a really long way.
Hi, this is Mary, and my expectation of a loving relationship is that we would be vulnerable enough and safe enough to love each other generously, and that we would have hearts to love the Lord and serve the purposes of Christ as a couple.
I'm Chanel,
I'm Kaylin.
and our expectations for love are one,
Fun, for sure. Absolutely. Have fun.
yes,
Make it
and
fun.
number two,
Yes.
trust.
Trust. Girl, I better. If I don't trust you, then I don't want you. You hear me? And then
Three,
communication.
well,
If you got a problem with me, you better talk to me, baby. And say it to my face.
Hi, my name is Dakota, and my expectation for a loving relationship is one that is centered around Jesus, because in God, He's the author of love. And how can you have a loving relationship without the man who invented love?
Absolutely loved it. But my expectation, I'm new to this town. I don't really know anybody. What we discovered is oftentimes people do relationships horribly. And you bring that into all of your relationships. Now, we always been saying we're married, but this is not just for married folk. This is for singles. This is for employers, employees. This is for getting along with your kids. I mean, it's for all of your aunts, your uncles, all of that. If we're going to have successful relationships, we're going to need to do some shifting of the way that we were thinking, the mindsets that we're bringing into our relationships, how we've been doing relationships. And so that's where we're excited for you guys to join us. As you guys know, Elwood and I have been married for a super long time. And I can remember when we were dating that he told me that, you know, he felt called to do ministry. And he said to me that, you know, when I do ministry, I'm going to be gung-ho. Now, at the time, he was working a secular job. He just got off the road from doing music ministry. He was in between doing a secular job. I met him while he was there. And so I'm like, okay, I understand what doing ministry is. I knew that I was going to be with someone in ministry. Had no clue, really, what any of this is about. We're in late 20s, you don't know. So we get married, and we moved to Minnesota. And I remember Elwood gets a job at an organization that I call his dream job. He absolutely loved it. But my expectation, I'm new to this town. I don't really know anybody. Now he's working like crazy. He's gone from sun up to sundown. My expectation was that he was going to be home when he said he was. If you heard that story in the past, you know he would be coming home, you know, later than what he said. So I knew that if I wanted my relationship with my husband to thrive, I was going to have to shift the way I'm thinking about it. And this is what I mean by that. That if I want to fail-proof my relationship with my husband, instead of focusing on him, I need to start focusing on me.
Yeah, that's good.
So what we want to say is to have a fail-proof relationship,
Yeah.
a proof one,
Yeah.
Not a poof one.
And not a poof one.
Yeah.
Poof, be gone.
Right.
But instead of focusing on the person, you want to start focusing on you.
Yeah.
A lot of times what we do in relationships, not just in marriage relationships, but any relationship that we are having to navigate through, what we usually do is we start pointing fingers at people. It's like, well, if you would come home when you said you would, then I wouldn't be happy. But I can't rely on someone else to do and to perform in a way that's going to make me happy or fill me up. So I point fingers, right? But that is not going to save my relationship. That's not going to make my relationship healthy. What I need to do then, and you guys have seen this, you know, when one finger is pointing, you got 3 more pointing back at you, right? So I need to focus in on me. Another thing we do is we magnify other people's faults. So they do one small thing, right? You the checkbook, you balanced it wrong, and now we're $20 in the whatever, right? And so you magnify these faults, and it's every single time your relationship with them or you talking to them, you want to bring these faults up again. Your aunt said something to you in passing. It didn't mean anything. But what you do is you magnify that about your aunt. You don't know what her story is or her history has been. If you want your relationships to be healthy and to thrive, then you got to stop focusing on them and start focusing in on you, right? If you want to fail-proof your relationship. Another thing we do, oh my gosh, the blame game. It's like, I blame them again. I blame my dad. I blame my, some hurtful things probably happened to you in your life, but you can't live life blaming everybody and every single thing for what is going on in relationships. So that's what we want to talk about today, that if you're going to thrive and have a healthy relationship and a fulfilling relationship, and one that I almost want to say a relationship that you can coast almost, right? Instead of focusing in on others, focus on ourselves. And so in a few minutes, we're going to give you some things that you can think about on how to focus on yourself.
You know, what's hard about that is because most of us don't believe that there's really anything wrong with me.
Right.
It's you. I'm not even going to lie. Like when we first got married, like, you know, everything that you was arguing about, fussing about, I was like, what's the problem? Like, I'm like, what's her problem? Right. And so I took everything that she had an issue with, I would always turn it back on you. And the reason I did that was because I never looked on the inside of what was really going on with me. Like I wouldn't even consider the fact that I came home late made you feel insecure. Right. Like it never dawned. And part of the reason it was like that is because I was selfish.
But so again, right, you should have came home, all of that. So I'm not saying that, you know, sometimes people's behavior shouldn't be looked at. We're not saying that at all.
Right.
But I can't think that Elwood's behavior, that he's going to have 100% perfect behavior the way I want it. Right. Because if I live life that way, then I'm going to always be mad, because the expectation is that, hey, you're going to be 100% like I need you to be.
Right. But at the same time, I agree with that. But I love what you said in the beginning of this. If you're going to have a good relationship, you have to have a relationship.
Yes.
Like, I really believe that, because if I would have kept coming home, you could say that, right? But if I would have kept coming home late and I'm like, woman, I'm out here doing ministry. What you think, I'm out here cheating on you? What's going on? You know, like if that's not going to be healthy for our relationship.
Yeah, but let's just say you did keep coming home late, right? Let's say you did. Right. And then that's how you function. Now, I know you're coming home late. You're not out there like robbing and stealing, but you're just coming home late.
I'm trying not to rob people.
Right.
Right.
If our relationship was going to work, I needed to have a shift, and this is what I mean by that. So if his pattern is he's going to come home late, then I need to shift the way I'm thinking about it and think he's going to come home late.
Yeah.
he's going to come home late.
Yeah.
And not expect that you're going to come home, if it's a really big deal,
Yeah.
that you're going to come home when you said you were.
Yeah.
I need to shift my thinking and not be like, put all the weight on you to make me
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
I need to put the weight on myself to make me happy.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I mean,
by
I
that.
think, and honey, I really appreciate you in this because I feel like you graduated a lot sooner than I did in that area. I feel like you gave me a lot of grace to make mistakes, and I feel like in our relationship, I was the one that's like, well, if she would, I wish she would rub my back more. I wish, and so, and then I took offense to every little thing that. And even stuff that I never even told you about. And
okay, so you about to tell me now
I'm
in
about
front
to
of everybody?
confess all. Look, we're gonna hear all this stuff now. But the reality is that I feel like the Bible, and there's a scripture that says, "Consider one another more highly than yourself." And it really, that scripture really hits me. But there's another scripture. But consider. If I really want to have a relationship so that we can have a good relationship, I have to consider the fact that you feel some kind of way about that one thing. Of course, it was other things too, but right? So in order for us to not survive in the relationship, but that we thrive in the relationship, part of my shifting was considering you. And I would say that for many marriages, as I counsel marriages, we're all mono-focused. We only, and it's not everybody, but a lot of people struggle in their relationship because you think of yourself. It's yourself. And so there's a scripture, I love this scripture, and this is found in Philippians, and this is Philippians 12:3. And I want to focus on the B side of the passage. It's really only one verse that I'm reading here, and it's Romans 12. Philippians is the other scripture I was going to use. It's Romans 12, and it's verse 3. It says, because of the privilege and the authority God has given me, this is Paul speaking, said, I give each of you this warning. Do not think of yourself then highly than you really are. Don't think you are better than you really are. And then it says this, be honest in your evaluation of yourself. Measure yourself by the faith God has given us. Just as our bodies have been many parts and each of our parts have a special function, so in the same way, Christ's body, we are many parts, but we're one body and we all belong to each other. And at least in this relationship, I would say that we belong to each other. So when I don't consider you, when I don't think of your feelings, and also when I'm not really honest about myself, like the honest truth about myself is I'm selfish. Well, not as much anymore, but I was selfish. And so from a scriptural standpoint, I think the shift for me really, and if as we're going to go into, hey, what is it that we want you to do? One of the things that we're asking is that you be selfless.
So when you, instead of focusing on the person, let me just qualify all of this.
Yeah.
This is some big boy, big girl stuff right here. Because like Elwood said, in relationships, oftentimes it is about me and mine and how can I be fulfilled. And so one thing that we're asking you, here's 5 things that we're going to give you that's going to fail-proof your relationship.
So explain that fail-proof now.
Fail-proof meaning that you're going to be able to thrive in your relationships. You're going to go through ups and downs in your relationships with a grace. You're going to be able to go through relationships with a peace. Not that things are going to be always easy and perfect. Not that. But the chances of you having a fail-proof relationship are these 5 things that we want to be able to give you. And again, they're not easy. This is grow into them. How about that? So I want you to grab your phone or whatever, and I want you to write these down because I'm going to have you post them somewhere. So when you get in a difficulty, not just with your significant other, but when you get into difficulty with your manager and your adult kids, and then your aunt and your uncle and your mom and your dad, when you can think this way, right? So again, the goal is, if I want to have fail-proof relationship, I want to be able to focus on me, how I'm feeling and thinking about it, how the mindset that I'm bringing. And one thing that we discovered is oftentimes people do relationships horribly. And and you bring that into all of your relationships. Now, we always been saying we're married, but this is not just for married folk. This is for... Come on, put your hands together with us, y'all. Oh, we bless your name, Jesus. We want to welcome you tonight to Urban Street Levels live recording. Come on. Woo! Come on. Yeah, you got it. Come on, come on. Yeah, come on. Come to praise our King, y'all. Come on. Woo! Right here, come on. Let us praise Him. Everybody praise Him. Come on. Come, let us praise Him. It's time to praise the Lord. You got it. Come, let us praise Him. Everybody. Everybody praise Him. Come, let us praise Him. It's time to praise the Lord. With the Spirit. The Spirit of the Lord falls on me. I will dance like David danced. The Spirit of the Lord falls on me. I will dance like David danced. With the Spirit. The Spirit of the Lord falls on me. I will dance like David danced. The Spirit of the Lord falls on me. I will dance. Let's dance. Dance like David danced. Dance like David. Come on, y'all. Dance like David danced. Come on, come on. Let us praise Him. Everybody. Everybody praise Him. Come, let us praise Him. It's time right now. It's time to praise the Lord. Yes, it is. Come, let us praise Him. Everybody praise Him.